Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another author spotlight. Today's author spotlight is going to be on Penelope Ward. My last author spotlight video did really well and you guys really did like it. And I thought I would come back with another one for this month. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing Penelope Ward. I've really loved her books in the past and in the present. She is one of the first authors that actually got me into contemporary romance, but also like new adult or whatever. And so I am excited to share with you guys my favorites. She does have a long list of books that she's written and published, but I am going to share with you guys my favorites. I will link all of kind of her website and her Instagram down below if you guys want to do a little digging on your own, but I will also list all of her books down below with the year that they were published so you guys can kind of see what's newer and what's older to see if you want to try it out. I don't know. But yeah, without further ado, let's begin. All right, guys, so the first book I'm going to be talking about is Stepborther Dearest. I loved this book. It was the first book that I read by her. It really got me into her writing and it really made me want to do a little digging and get into some of her other books. Stepborther Dearest, so it's been a long ass time since I've read these books. I have reread Stepborther Dearest a few times, but I am going to be looking at my notes because I did write some notes just so I give you guys the right information. So if I'm looking down, it's because I have notes. But Stepborther Dearest follows Greta and Alec, and like the title insinuates, this is a stepbrother, step-sibling trope. And basically Alec is Greta's stepbrother and he comes to live with her and her family. They instantly have this kind of connection. She is completely attracted to him and he's kind of a jerk to her when he's living there, but at the same time he does these little things to kind of make him seem like a decent person. He is kind of jerky, but at the same time he can be kind of nice by defending her or trying to protect her in a public setting like with friends. But then at the same time he's like bringing back these girlfriends and kind of parading them in front of her and making her feel kind of bad because he can kind of tell that she likes him. They like each other, but he's doing this weird little back and forth cat and mouse thing. And yeah, one night he actually has to go back to live with his mother, and the night before, him and Greta kind of have sex, and it's kind of like all of that pent up kind of back and forth kind of released in one night, and he was her first, and after that he ends up leaving and they don't reunite for years later, like years later, not 4 years, but years later. And everything kind of unfolds later on. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens. I really like the book, and if you guys want more details, you can definitely go and check out Goodreads and check out the reviews if you want some other people's opinions on the book. I personally really liked it, and I think if you're into the stepbrother trope, this is definitely for you. All right, guys, so the next one is RoomHate. I absolutely love this book. It's one of my favorites by her, for sure. This one follows Amelia and Justin. Amelia's grandmother passes away, and she leaves her beach house, which is the house that Amelia spent her summers at with her grandmother. And she had a best friend there named Justin, who she would hang out with, and they became friends. And Amelia's grandmother kind of helped raise Justin low-key. So in the beginning you get a little bit of a kind of like a little sneak peek at Amelia when she's younger with Justin. The two of them are friends and just kind of them getting them growing up a little bit, and what happens is there are feelings between the two of them, but she does abruptly leave, and that's kind of the end of it. Then we cut to Amelia as an adult. She she's now heard that she's inherited this beach house. She ends up going to the beach house and finding out later that her grandmother actually only gave Amelia half of the beach house and the other half is Justin's. So low-key, her grandmother kind of wanted them together, and she basically is making it happen. So they end up both coming to the beach house this summer, and Justin brings his girlfriend along. I can't for the life of me remember what the girlfriend's name is. It might pop up in my brain, but I don't remember. But he does end up bringing his girlfriend. Justin's kind of mean to Amelia. He's kind of angry. He's pissed about like why, like her leaving so abruptly when they were younger. So he does have some animosity towards her. So they end up deciding that they're both just going to stay in the house together, and kind of stay on separate corners. They each have their own rooms, and so basically they spend a summer together with Justin's girlfriend there, and it's kind of awkward because they both have this sexual tension between each other, and it's weird because it's like Justin is kind of like trying to make her jealous with his girlfriend, but at the same time they like each other and he likes her. Things end up kind of progressing, and then they get to a part where things take a turn. I'm trying to be as vague as possible without giving too much away. I will say though, this book definitely kind of takes it takes time for the two to get together. It's kind of a slow burn, I guess you could say. It does take time for the two main characters to finally gonna be together. So you're gonna be waiting for a minute. It's not something that kind of happens right away. It's not a fast pace. I even would say in Stepbrother, they get together a lot quicker than they do in this one. Keep that in mind. It does take a little bit of time for them to get through their shit so they can get to the bedroom. Yeah. Moving right along. Okay guys, so the next one is called Stuck Up Suit, and this one was co-written with V. Keelan, who I also really love. I might actually do a spotlight on her one day, but yeah, this was co-written by the two of them, V. Keelan and Penelope Ward. It's called Stuck Up Suit. And this one follows Graham, and I think her name is Soroya or Soroy. I think I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Please forgive me if I am. I think it's Soroya. I'm just going to say Soroya. Basically, Soroya is a columnist, and she's taking the train one day. She ends up seeing a man who is talking very loudly and negatively on his cell phone. He's kind of being a jackass to whoever's on the other end. She ends up kind of trying to ignore him until his stop comes, and he ends up leaving his phone. She notices that he's a very attractive man, but he's a jackass. She ends up seeing that he left his phone. She goes, gets the phone, and she intends on returning it. First, she does a little digging into his phone, trying to figure out who he is and where to take the phone to. She later finds out who it is, and that's Graham. He's a businessman. She ends up finding where he works and trying to return the phone, but when she arrives, he doesn't even want to see her or thank her at all. The receptionist kind of takes the phone and just sends her on her way. But before she does return the phone, she ends up putting her phone number into his phone and leaving a few messages behind that are a little bit saucy, and that catches Graham's attention. Obviously, he ends up contacting her, and there's a little bit of back and forth between the two of them. In the first part of the book, it's very, saucy, sexy, some back and forth writing, but once a relationship starts to blossom between Soroya and Graham, things and the drama starts turning. There's family drama, cheating drama, kids drama. So if that sounds like something that you're into, then this might be a fun read for you. I did enjoy it, and I do like these two characters. I think I have reread this book maybe once before, but yeah, I do like how it's written, and I did like the story, and I thought it was a fun and kind of just a fun read. So give it a try. Okay guys, so the next one is called Sins of Sevin. Now, I absolutely love this book. Definitely got me in my feelings. And I've always said that I really love books that get my emotions going. It just feels like I'm connected to the story somehow. So I really do I did really love this book. Now, this book definitely has Christian vibes in it. It does follow or center around a very Christian family. and it follows a boy named Sevin, whose father passes away, and he ends up actually being propositioned by a family friend about a kind of marriage happening between him and his daughter. So Sevin is basically meant to go and court this girl named Elle, and he's going to basically move onto their family's home, move into their family home, and they're going to court and kind of see like where this will go, and eventually it would hopefully lead to marriage. He's promised that he will get to run Elle's father's company and be kind of successful. He's promised a home and a marriage and all that great jazz, and basically a great life. Although things end up going sideways when Sevin ends up meeting Evangeline, who is actually Elle's sister, her older sister. He ends up falling in love with her, instant connection. They end up meeting exactly on the day that he was on his way to go to meet Elle and her family. They end up bumping into each other right en route back to the home. And so they end up meeting, they end up having this instant connection that they can't ignore. They love each other deeply, and they end up having a little bit of an affair, and an accident happens that kind of, they have plans. So they basically have plans that they're going to be together and kind of tell the family the truth and tell Elle, but something terrible, tragic happens to Elle, which kind of makes Evangeline feel terrible and horrible. She ends up packing up and leaving in the middle of the night without telling Sevin, and they basically don't see each other for years and years and years until a tragic day comes in the future when Elle ends up passing away. And that's kind of when the second half of the book picks up. That is where Evangeline and Sevin meet again at her sister's funeral. And everything is kind of really messy and really kind of crazy, and there's a lot of secrets and a lot of lies and a lot of stuff that's done in, you know, this story just shows you that being truthful and telling the truth, as much as it can hurt, it'll save you a lot of grief and a lot of pain later on. Sometimes it can be painful, but at the end of the day, the truth always does find a way to come out, I think. So I really, really loved this book, honestly, and I think I definitely would recommend it. Again, if you guys want to get more kind of background, a little bit more of a deep dive, you can definitely go on the Goodreads and check out other people's reviews and kind of give the synopsis a read for itself. I definitely love this book, like I've said, but check it out for yourself, see if you like it. It does have, you know, mentions of Christianity, and there's a lot of secrets and lies, and there's a lot of different things, lots of drama. So I definitely did love this, so check it out for sure. All right, guys, so I'm going to get into some of her newer books. Now, I did read this one in October, I believe, and it was in my October reads. It's called Happily Letter After, and I really, really, really loved it. I thought it was such a sweet story, and it basically follows a woman named Sadie who works for a magazine. Her magazine also does a column where they kind of grant wishes for the holidays. They get letters of wishes during the holidays, and a young girl named Birdie sends her letter in the summer, a little early, and she's basically grieving the loss of her mother, and Sadie connects with her because she also lost her mother at a young age. She ends up going out of her way to kind of make Birdie's wishes come true. And one day she ends up taking some advice from her friend who says that they should go and kind of see Birdie when one of her wishes come true, just to kind of see the look on her face. They then end up going to see Birdie get one of her wishes, and Sadie also ends up seeing Birdie's father, who is absolutely gorgeous, and she kind of is instantly attracted to him. His name is Sebastian, and she's just like in awe and just like, oh my God, he's gorgeous. Anyways, cut to Sadie finding Birdie's clip in her hair that's a butterfly clip that she knows belongs to Birdie. She ends up going, or she's standing at their door, and Sebastian opens the door and he thinks that Sadie is someone else. And when Sadie has the opportunity to clear everything up, she ends up lying and kind of digging herself deeper into a hole. He ends up thinking she's a dog trainer, and things kind of go downhill from there. She kind of keeps going with the lie and kind of insinuates herself in the family because she kind of really does get connected to Birdie, but also is kind of interested in Sebastian. So that's what the story is about. It does just kind of gives you the journey of Sadie and Sebastian, kind of where they go after, you know, will he find out if she's lying or not, or it basically she's told them that she's a dog trainer. She has to go and learn how to train a dog. But it was a very sweet story, and I did find it very entertaining. I thought it was cute, and Birdie was just adorable. And I just think that it's a sweet, emotional, cute little story for anyone to enjoy. So you might like it if that's something you're into. But yeah, this one is definitely one of her newer books that came out very recently, late 2020, I believe. Yeah, late 2020. I really loved it. Check it out on Goodreads to get a little bit more background on it, but I definitely think it's a cute story and something worth reading. All right, guys, so the last book that I'm going to be talking about is called The Day He Came Back. And again, this one's a little bit of a newer book by Penelope Ward. This one kind of is from two different worlds kind of thing, rich and poor situation. This one follows Raven and Gavin. Raven works for the Masterson family, and Gavin is the eldest son of the Masterson family. And he's spending his last summer before law school just in Palm Beach, enjoying his summer. Raven works for his family, and he is immediately taken with her. She's so beautiful, and he is just kind of immediately attracted. They like each other. Gavin is the nicest one the nicer one out of him and his brother, and he's just a lot nicer towards Raven in the house. Gavin's mother is a little bit cooler, and so she was kind of just shocked when meeting Gavin or running into him. They end up really liking each other, and against everyone's wishes, they end up having kind of like a summer affair. They fall madly in love with each other, but end up not staying together. 10 years later passes, and Raven finds herself working at the Masterson home again. And she knows that it's going to be a matter of time before she runs into Gavin again. So this is definitely, if you're into, comes from two different worlds, rich and poor kind of books like this is definitely something that you might enjoy. I definitely liked it. I found it was very sweet. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a great read. But yeah, that is pretty much all of the books that I'm going to talk about by Penelope Ward that I really like. There are so many more that I didn't get to that you can definitely just check out for yourself on her website, or just look up on Goodreads. On her Goodreads, there's a whole long list of them. But I have read a lot more from her, but I would be here all day making this video. But I just kind of picked out a few of my favorites. So yeah, I really do love Penelope Ward. I think another thing that I really love about her is just how you get something different from each of her books. You know, with some authors, you kind of know where you're going to get. Once you've read maybe one or two of her books, you kind of know what tone you're going to get with that author, and you kind of know what you're going to get when you're in the mood for kind of like an age gap, if you're in the mood for, you know, rocker or biker, or, you know what I mean? Whereas with what I find with Penelope, or even V. Keelan, is that you get kind of a taste of different things in every story. Every story is different. Every character, you know, each character is different. Each couple is different. So that's kind of something that I really like. You never know what you're going to get with her books. They're never usually kind of one thing. But yeah, I really do love Penelope Ward. She's one of my favorite authors. Totally check her out. She does have quite a body of work already out there, like I said, so there's a lot to choose from. But yeah, that's pretty much everything, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like if you want to see another author spotlight. Please subscribe because it really does help me out, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.